Well, hi. Happy July 2nd. Can you believe we are in the, first month of the rest of this year? Gosh, time is flying by. And anyway, it's summer. I hope it's wonderful where you are. I hope you're having a wonderful summer so far. It's been beautiful here where I am. Actually, even in these really hot days, there's been some coolness, whether in the morning or in the evening. So it's been lovely. And I am always one for a summer storm and those thunders and lightnings. It's so great. That's what I missed. One of the things I missed most when I lived in California was we didn't have thunderstorms, and I really missed that. So it's been nice being back in the South and just getting to be a part of that nature. So, anyway, okay, thanks for joining. I'm glad you're here. I am going to read the Akashic prayer, and then we'll just see what the guides want to share, and we'll jump in today. All right. Thank you. Okay. Okay. I ask God if He will have His shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm. Turn up the volume. Sorry. Through whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. I'm turning up my volume. I don't know if y'all could hear me. Okay. 1 second here. Okay. Oh, from Canada. Hi. Thanks for checking in today. Okay. So let's see where the guides want to start today before we jump into some questions that were sent in. Okay. The guides are telling me that there is, well, first of all, they want you to know everything has records. Everything has Akashic records. And anything that has ever existed, been created, has Akashic records. And so we can look at anything. And astrologers would tell you that even, the United States has a birth chart. It has records. The earth has records. So they want you to understand that there is such a collective of divine beings holding the earth in the most positive, highest energy right now, really trying to send vibrations from the divine throughout the earth. As we weather some of the things going on here on the planet. And that could be things personally, politically, globally, in your communities, it could be in your families, but just anything and everything going on. And so the guides, this is really lovely. What they want for you to imagine and for you to visualize is this set of divine beings around the earth. And they have the ability to reach down energetically, of course, and touch the heart of every being. And it's almost like they're hitting the reset button of everybody's heart. Wow, this is really incredible. Not seen this before. And they are telling me it is like, again, like hitting a reset button. And we are more supported here than we can possibly imagine. And they want to reassure us. Some of us will get our buttons reset, that heart pushed, and it will compel us to live here in a different way. Some of us will get that heart button pushed, and we will find we have even more capacity to love and share love. They said some will get that button pushed and they will make their transition. And gosh, I would not be surprised. I know heart attacks are like on the decline as a way out. But what they're showing is that there are going to be several more to come. And it just makes me think Jimmy Swaggart. just passed, 2 days ago from a heart attack. Um, so they are saying that's part of the reset, and there will be more to come. So some will make their transition because they're ready to evolve into their next, life or lifetime. Um, they're ready to leave this planet and create space for more to come in. They said some hearts will be reset and people will find the capacity to love for the first time. And so there's so many people here on the planet and everybody's being affected differently. Yet the guides want us to know that all hearts are being touched right now. All hearts are being touched right now. So that reset button, while they're showing it energetically, they're pushing the button. That button may be a news story somebody hears, or a story that their neighbor is going through something. Who knows what that reset button is for each and every person on the planet? But the guides are telling us it is happening, it is happening. And it is part of this sweeping change that we are going through as a planet right now. They said we do not have to worry about the earth. The earth, she is powerful. She will sustain no matter what. She has incredible regenerative properties. They appreciate us wanting to be kind to the earth and assist the earth in her own journey. Yet they would have us let go of the fear around that. If damaging, hurting, worrying that the earth will not survive, because they're saying the earth will survive, will always survive. Okay, let me see here. And hi, you guys. Thanks for joining in. Okay. All right, and I will get to your questions here that you guys are typing in today in just a second. I always do the ones that were emailed in. Hang on. Let me pull those up so I have them handy. Okay. Let me see what else the guides might have for us today. Okay, here. They are also telling me for those that are on the planet that have had their heart broken, which is probably a lot of us at one time or another, but those in particular right now, they said that are suffering from heartache, heartbreak. They want you to know in that vision of these divine hands touching every heart, they want you to know that it's also repairing heartbreak and heartache. Unless that heartbreak and heartache is necessary to facilitate maybe a book somebody's writing, or just making a life change, or finding a gift within them that is being born out of that heartache. So they said in those cases they are leaving that alone. Well, that's a lovely thing to think of too. They would also have you understand that you are being surrounded by your loved ones in spirit and their loved ones in spirit and all of your ancestors. And that there is, even though those souls might be on to different incarnations, as you know them from this soul's incarnation, the lineage there, they are all still there. That's really powerful to think of too. And it's hard for our minds to wrap around the volume of people that might be there, our ancestors and all of their stories and their stories and their stories. It's just infinite. It really is. But they want you to know that that is always around you too. And if you have a thought of someone, know that they are saying a little hello. They are nudging you in some way, and that they are glad you received their hello. So if all of a sudden you're thinking about maybe your great grandmother that you met 2 times, just know that she's saying hello to you. And they are saying, often you might hear names. A name might pop in your head. That could very well be an ancestor that's in your lineage It could very well be the name of a guide that wants to support you right now or offer its energies to you. They are saying to pay attention, most of you do, to the signs, that going on around you, animals that cross your path, things you see repeatedly. I just was talking to someone this morning, and the guides had started out with the reading telling her that big life changes were coming, and they showed her as taking off her coat and then unzipping this body she's been in and stepping into a new identity. And they weren't saying you're going to leave the planet. They were just saying new identity. It's time for you to let everything you know about yourself go. And it's funny because she said, is that why I've been seeing buzzards? And buzzards everywhere for days, almost for a whole month. And that would be a sign of that. So they are saying to pay attention because the divine is always communicating with you and your loved ones are always communicating with you. And if you could feel and imagine the support that's there for you in spirit, you would really be able to give up a lot of the worries and fears you have here. They said there's so much up there. And I use the word up loosely, but you know what I mean. There's so much in spirit that is here to support you and help you. And you can ask for them to make it obvious. Okay. And of course, with that image of them touching everybody's heart on the planet. Oh, wow, this is really interesting. They are showing me that the humans are all getting their hearts touched. The animals on this planet are all, it's like, for lack of a better word, they're getting a bath. They said that the divine is putting all this wonderful divine energy just washing over each and every animal on the planet, kind of uplifting them for the service that they are offering in their lives here, because animals really are here in that place of higher consciousness, serving the evolution of us humans and the planet. And so they are all being recognized at this time as well. And it's like they're being lifted up. It's the neatest thing to see, like they're being surrounded in this divine energy and just lifted and flooded, and like they're getting a bath of divine energy and then put back down. So for those of you with pets or farms, just notice if your animals are acting a little differently. How cool is that? Never seen them do that before either. So again, when we do this work, even in the records, it's like, oh, there's always evolution. And even something like this coming in, and y'all have been doing readings for 10 years, and I've never had that come in before. So it's really, really lovely. Okay. Let me see here. I have got some questions here. And again, thank you guys for joining me live, and I will get to your questions today too. Okay, let me go here. Okay, so last week we had someone write in about hearing the song The New Kid in Town. And so there's a follow-up question to that. Says, thank you for the reading from the guides on Wednesday. I can relate to the new aspect of me that's evolving, being the new kid. However, could you provide some clarity and offer any further insights into the mentoring aspects of the reading? I never saw myself either seeking a mentor or being a mentor myself. I simply just do the work. Okay. So the guides would say, the idea of mentor is about sharing the work in a different way, and sharing the work in more of a teaching way. Now, of course, when we do the work, that teaches in and of itself, and it inspires others and it lifts others. Yet there is an aspect to the word mentoring that implies teaching, and it's almost like teaching people how to teach, how to perpetuate the work that you're doing. And so is there some way you can look at the work you're doing and put it in kind of a course, material, and think about offering that out. And it's really more about when we teach, it's kind of like the real power's in teaching the teachers so that they can continue teaching. And it's like it just lets it spread more. Does that make sense? So I would say be open to, it might be one element of what you do. It might be singing and dancing. It might be a message that is just fundamental for you to impart to others. It might be in the way you do the work. So I'm not sure, but I think that would be fun to play with and see. Okay, here's one. I have been curious about relocating and welcome anything the guides share. Okay. They love that you are curious about this, is what they're saying. And they would have you explore this and be willing to move forward in this. I'm trying to see if they will show me any direction or any idea. It's really interesting. I see you being around people you love. So, will that take you in that direction? But they're also showing me almost like your space is getting smaller, like you are requiring less of a dwelling place to be in because you're living so much of your life outside of that space. And one thing that you've recognized is everything you need is already within you. And so, it's almost like for some people, it might feel like the walls are closing in or they don't have room to spread out, but they're saying it's different for you. It's almost like the space you need to live in is just getting smaller. It's a lovely container, but because most of your life is happening outside of that space or within here, if that makes sense. So I do see you moving. I do see you going to a smaller place, and it feels really lovely. And lovely, I mean, a smaller, I would say, dwelling place, as in home. So it'd be like going from a 3 bedroom to a 1 bedroom, or maybe even to a really open studio. The other thing they are telling me is paint, 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 paint. They would have you paint. So I don't know if you do watercolors, but they're showing watercolors. And they would like for you to find a place where you can relocate with a view. Feels like a view, I would say, of the water, hence watercolors, and find a place to paint. There's something like that. So be open to that. Yes, being supported and encouraged, and they're glad you are curious. It's almost like you've heard their guidance. How fun. Okay. All right. I am seriously needing some positive advice. I feel like I'm just going in circles and not getting anything accomplished. I need some direction on where I should start. Trying to go with flow, but outside pressure is causing a lot of stress. Any and all advice would be greatly appreciated. I tell you, that is so funny this question came in. I'm reading a book right now, actually. It's called The Psychology of Money. And I was reading a part last night, and it's an easy book to read. It's like 20 chapters. They're short, but they're great. And the guy said, freedom is really what we all want here, which, I have always said that too. And he said, but freedom exists only when we quit worrying about what others think and what others want, need, and put upon us. But basically, it really comes down to quit worrying what others think, and you'll find your sense of freedom of being here on the planet. So that's one answer to that question, and is to really understand where you're putting your priorities, and that outside pressure, just let it be pressure. It doesn't have to be pressure, but it feels like it right now because you put some importance on what that outside stuff is. So what the guides are saying, again, they're showing you getting rid of things, letting go, lightening your load, kind of like the previous question. See yourself in a smaller, more open space. And it really feels like it's necessary to move in that direction, for you to feel lighter and for you to have more clarity here. And so the circles that you're going in, the guides are funny. They're saying, make sure you're picking stuff up on your spins and tossing it out as you're going around. But really, it's about letting go, letting go. I would say if you had to be in the flow you need to be in is the letting go flow. Does that make sense? I've never had them say it like that either. And hopefully that will be helpful. Once you get into the groove of that, yeah, they said, let that be the flow you are in. Because really, you know what my mom said to me one time, and I thought this was so funny. Her, this guy that worked at the church, Sam, they were talking one day about things and belongings, and he called my mom Miss Grady. He was like, Miss Grady, you know what? I ain't never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse. And I thought that was the funniest thing, but the most profound thing. Like, why do we hold on to these things? They're just things. We're not going to take them with us. And so be open to that. And whoever needed to hear that today, things, they're just things. And they may bring us real joy, yet as the woman before, everything we need is in here. So that's lovely. I'm so glad y'all have asked those questions. Okay, so hello to you live here. Let's see what kind of questions you have today that we can get to. All right, here's one. Do the Akashic records have any good news about my daughter Rachel and my husband Kurt finding a job or position soon? Thank you. All right, let's see. I'm hearing things are getting ready to change quickly and actually quite well rapidly. Same thing. Feels like for your husband, it's going to be sooner. And that I would say is going to be this month. Feels like before the summer ends, definitely in the next few weeks, but right around the corner. So whatever that timeline ends up being, but I do feel there's alignment. It's really interesting the way they show this for your husband. It's like there's a cord out there trying to land somewhere, for work. And then there's a cord out here trying to line up with him. And so what they're saying is there's really windy weather right now that's keeping the connection from meeting. I don't know what that might mean, if it's something with that company or something just needs to settle down first, but there's a reason the connection hasn't happened yet, but it's coming. Something has to settle first. So for your daughter, well, they're saying she's being kind of picky, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. We have to ask for what we want, right? Yet they said she needs to think out of the box, open her mind a little bit more, look at things differently. So I'm not sure what that might mean. I feel like what they're suggesting is that she may be looking in one way, one route, one avenue for work, but there's like 5, 6, or 7 that she can choose from, if that makes sense. And to open her view, I guess, to look at more things. And even if she surprisingly lands at something she never thought she would be doing, I would say trust in that. Tell her to trust in that, because you just don't know why the guides are, opening certain doors for you. But it's always fun to find out. They never, ever steer us in the wrong direction, so to speak. They always guide us, to our soul's highest and best, that next best thing for our soul. So if anything, I'm telling you, I've really learned to trust the guides and what they say to do. So it's really beautiful to watch what happens. So tell her to be open. Might be something she never thought of, and it might take a little bit longer than your husband. So I don't know if I would say fall, but I would say he'll go first. Get one first. Okay. All right. Let's see here. All right. What does the Akashic record say? What's coming up for me for the rest of the year? All right. Do you have anything a little more specific we can look at? Like, are you concerned relationship, career, anything in particular? Um, so you guys remember Akashic records, we can be specific with our questions. And when we're general, we often get general answers and maybe not necessarily the answer we're looking for. It'll be an answer you need, just not maybe what you were hoping to hear, if that makes sense. So if you are still on here live, let me know a little bit more about what you're thinking. Okay, here's one. Does our intuition or guides lead us to misread a situation or a person so that we can learn certain lessons? This happened to me and now I feel completely confused. Oh, I get that. That's a great question. Okay. Okay. Well, they said no. They said no. Coming on the heels of that, they said no. They always guide you to your highest and best, and they are often sending you signs and messages. The proverbial red flags, but a lot of us don't see them until after the fact, and we're like, "Oh, that was a red flag." So, in a sense, they want you, and you do, to appreciate every experience, positive or negative, so to speak, as learning, as evolving, because obviously now you're wiser. You can look back and see, where that happened, why that happened, how you might have missed something. The guides are saying that they do not purposefully mislead or confuse. As a matter of fact, if you're in real danger or really need to take a detour from someone, the messages get louder and bigger, almost like they're just screaming in your face. So it's up to us to trust in that divine guidance and try and discern what those messages might mean. And then, more importantly, it's really about how you feel. And it's about really being so self-aware that if something feels off, it's off. And you don't have to try and figure out what it is, and then you don't have to dismiss it if you can't figure it out. It's more about trusting that internal guidance system. So your guides are going to use your feelings too. Now, sometimes we are meant to be duped by a person because we could be balancing something from a past life where we duped them in some way. They could be duping us in some way, and we've agreed to, have that balance. So there's a lot of layers to that, yet the guides would say, no, they are always, always, always guiding you to your evolution through authenticity. So hopefully that's helpful. Okay, here we go. I'm thinking about becoming a yoga teacher as another way of helping people release grief. What do my guides think of this? Okay, let's see here. So they appreciate you wanting to help people with grief because there is so much, and a lot of people are really working that emotion in this lifetime, for their particular lifetime, and they like the yoga, they like the body movement. They would also ask you to be open to um, uh, almost like ecstatic dance or free dance, or maybe even, gosh, I had somebody the other day, belly dancing came through for her to be open to. Um, so there's real healing energy in that. So you might want to put a little spin on that and do something different besides yoga. Does that make sense? Like, you could do yoga and get that basis and that foundation, and then bring something else into it. And have you ever heard of, I think it's called Five Rhythms, which is a healing kind of dance that you can become certified into. And that could be something else that you look into. But yes, some kind of body movement as a way to work through grief. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. This is so much fun. Okay. All right, let's see here. I've been curious about who my guides are. Do you have any thoughts from your guides on this? All right, well, let's just see. Okay, so just a little guide, um, just education they're saying is, remember, there is such a collective of divine beings that are focused on the earth, focused on individuals, communities, cities, states, countries, and you yourself have spirit guides. There's a realm, they say, that spirit guides come from. These are not necessarily people you've known, people they are from that spirit guide realm, like angels are from a realm or fairies are from a realm. um, Spirit guides are too. So to always come in with you, they are with you in that life between lives when you're planning, this incarnation, so they understand what your soul wants to um, experience while it's here. And so you wouldn't know those souls as people, maybe loved ones that have departed. Now, they are very much around too, and they are really willing to help too. Um, so there's a wealth of energy there, helping. Now, if I ask to see your two guides, to ask that question, they wanted to show up for you. They're showing up in colors, and they're showing me the colors of blue and green. And I feel like I'm really looking at kind of that turquoise teal that comes together, almost like you would think of that Caribbean water, but they're bringing that color around you. They said that that is an essence of them, of their energy that they're bringing to you. So I'm not sure if those colors mean anything to you, but that's how they're showing up. This is just one way guides can show up in color form of energy. They can show up as archetypes, like a Native American chief, or um, a medicine woman. It could be anything. Their energy changes a lot depending on what you might need. So hopefully that was helpful. It's kind of fun to see those colors around. Okay, is my son Ricky going to be okay when he moves out? All right, let's see here. They said, the guide said yes. And this is part of his journey, and it's time where his legs might be a little wobbly. When he moves out, he will find his way. Um, this is a really powerful time for him. He will need some support, but it really comes in the kindness and compassion, they said, that kind of support and just understanding of letting him find his way. So I'm not sure what that means for you in particular, but they just keep showing me like and I'm not sure how old he is or anything like this, but it's kind of like a baby bird, getting out of a nest and learning to fly. They're giving me that image that this is that time, and that he'll be okay. So even if he has already been out before and he had to come back and regroup and go out again, it's the same kind of feeling. So hopefully that helps. Thank you for asking. Okay, looking into Holy Fire Reiki classes 1 and 2 to open myself up more to spirit, and then use it with shelter animals or volunteer in hospice. Okay. Absolutely. I'm getting a thumbs up on that too. That is a wonderful way to open yourself up to more spirit, bringing more spirit through. And again, for any of you that do Reiki, any level of Reiki, when you work with it every day, when you call it in every day, it's almost like you can't help but be here in a more spiritual way, and you can't help but cultivate a more spiritual language. When you say the prayer that Dr. Usui said every day, if I used to have that taped around in the kitchen cabinets where my coffee cups are and on the bathroom mirror. And it's, if you can start your day with that, it's like the whole day takes on a spiritual tone. And so if you want to work in the Holy Fire Reiki and work with animals or hospice, oh my gosh, absolutely. You're going to feel so much more of that flowing through you. And it's a lovely way to be here. I'm hearing that's wonderful alignment. And again, you're listening to that guidance. Okay, here. May I ask who presented strong honeysuckle fragrance Monday evening while outside to meditate? Lost the ability to smell several years ago, but spirit sometimes presents smells. Okay. And you couldn't get who this one is. So, you know what? One second here. Smells are a wonderful way for spirits and loved ones to come in. And sometimes even the different ascended masters, goddesses, deities, from all the different religions and cultures have associations with aromas, flowers. So let me see. So they are telling me, this is really interesting. They are saying it was not a person, it was not necessarily a spirit or ascended master. They said that it was the essence of the honeysuckle, and it was trying to reach out to you and communicate with you. So in that case, I would look up to see what's the spiritual meaning of honeysuckle. But it feels like just the essence of the honeysuckle plant was trying to reach you and give you a message that it's there for you, that energy is available to you. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to have to look that up real quick because I don't know what the spiritual meaning of honeysuckle is. But I think we can all see. Okay. Oh, wow. Honeysuckle, in its spiritual symbolism, represents love, devotion, and the enduring bonds of affection. It's also associated with good luck, protection, and psychic awareness. The sweet scent of honeysuckle is believed to enhance intuition and clarity, and the intertwined vines of the plant symbolize the unity of two souls in love. Wow, I did not know that. So I'm so glad you asked that question. And we all might get a honeysuckle experience. How fun. So see, that's how this world communicates with us. Everything is alive and has essence. Okay. Okay, here we go. Get here. I might lose my way here. Will my grandson find work while he is waiting for his shoulder from surgery to heal? He was an EMT and wants to go to the fire academy. Wow, okay. I'm hearing he will. Yeah, no problem. I'm not hearing any problem. It feels like he's got a really clear vision and he's able to move towards that. The shoulder thing, I would say, happened to kind of redirect him, if that makes sense, or put him on this path sooner, and is also setting him up for more. Does that make sense? Like the shoulder being reinforced in some way. So when he goes to this next adventure of career, it's like he's kind of been put back together, so to speak. So he'll go in stronger. Mm-hmm. And be a fun journey to watch. Okay, I am wondering what my guides want me to start working towards in spiritual gifts, either channeling, using my voice to somehow heal people with my violet flame, or something I've never even thought of. Okay, let's see, that's great. Well, they're saying a little bit of all the above, if that makes sense. Voice chanting feels very powerful. In that, you might be channeling some divine beings wanting to come through on the sound, the vibration of sound, if that makes sense. I don't know if you use drums, but they're showing me almost like you drumming around people. That just a drum beat. I don't know how to explain that. So if somebody were laying there getting Reiki and you chanted, it feels really Native American, actually, that you're bringing forth some kind of healing modality with chant and sound of a drum vibration. Hang on one second. I'm looking to see if there's a native elder or even a tribe that you're meant to work with. Hang on one second. Give me 1 second. I'm not grabbing that yet. Arapaho? Begins with an A. Is that one Arapaho? Is that more out west? I'm not sure. Southwest? I'm not sure. Anyway, look into that. I don't know if that means anything to you. Huh. So there's something there to pull forth. Okay, my daughter works in a clinical research focusing on vaccines. Ooh. With current administration, there was much less research. Her company has gone through 3 layoffs. Is my daughter at risk of losing her job? I would say yes. And I would say she could get out ahead of this and bring her research somewhere else. It still feels like vaccines are going to be needed and vaccines are going to be focused on. Just feels like the funding is going to come from different places, different ways that we have not seen open up before. So I do feel like she'll still have work in that field, in that arena, just might be in a different construct. I don't know how else to explain that. So I would tell her to kind of get out ahead of it and just have her eyes and ears open for opportunities to do different research somewhere else. So it might be just a redirection for her, but I don't feel like she's like not going to work in that field or that industry. So, there's a lot of change right now to funding and how things are getting funded. And yet, this is really interesting. The guides say this too is part of the design. And, there really is a real disparity of wealth in the world. And so what we'll find is a lot of the very wealthy, the 1%ers, they call them, will be compelled at some point to be more philanthropic, to really realize they have more power, to help the world. And so, I had this conversation with somebody yesterday in a call, and I love that it's coming up here today. Some of these 1%ers, even the Jeff Bezos Sanchez wedding, it's like this gross display of wealth, and love and joy at the same time. And the guide said, we can look at this as their souls are evolving and they don't understand the power of influence they have to help the world, to be a positive influence. So many of them are still in that material realm where they're attached to those things, I don't think they've thought the U-Haul's not going to be behind their hearse kind of thing. But this is a journey that they're on, that evolution to realizing the power that they can have, and what we can do is wish for their evolution to really show up and do some good for the world because they've got the money to do it. And so as we're watching, say, the government cut funding here and there, don't be surprised at the scientists that band together that is funded by, a 1%er to create something. So there's going to be growth, and there's going to be wonderful things that come out of this, new inventions, new technologies, new companies, and that we can all trust in. So where a source is getting cut, something else is going to come up. So it is about redirecting and being open to that flow. So I'm so glad you asked that question. Okay, I would like to know about my health and getting back to feeling like myself again. Okay, gotcha. So the guides are telling me this is a neat little exercise. So you know what we focus on expands. So if we focus on the pain in our body or not feeling like ourselves, that kind of just perpetuates. So what they are saying, and this is not a trick, you're not tricking your mind, but they would have you, because you can't trick your mind, and they would have you go back to a time in your life and pick an age that you just felt fabulous, like the world was your oyster and you had a lot of enthusiasm, you know, just about what's on the horizon without even knowing. And they said they would go back to that, and they said because that you is still in there, and they would like for you to resurrect that part of you that was excited to be here. And at the same time, they would say they would look at why your health is where it is and the health journey you've been on, and can you find an understanding of how you got to where you are, and can that make sense to you that you realize you have the power to change that? So all health conditions really alert us to some emotional or mental um, pattern, thought pattern. And y'all probably all seen Heal Your Body, and there's so many other books out now, Does Your Body Lie, things like that, that they would encourage you to look into and have you understand, sometimes it's aging, and sometimes things are written into our soul's journeys because we wanted to have that understanding of this health, crisis or issue. And it might be because we're going to be a doctor of it in the next lifetime. So again, be open to all of those ideas and thoughts and realize you have the power to change. They would find you being back at that age where you're looking out at that horizon and you see a world full of opportunity and you feel very supported. They said part of your work is to trust in that support around you. And I would say physical support, but also the unseen support. And so that you let go of any feelings of being isolated on your journey or on a solo journey, if that makes sense. They said no one on this planet is here solo. And even if they are in the physical without family, partner, whatever, they have so much in non-physical that not one person, not one soul is solo. Isn't that cool? Okay, thank you for asking that. All right, here's one. Will I find someone soon to hire who can teach me how to audit videos for YouTube? Okay. I'm hearing yes. You probably should meet my cousin. She's talented with stuff like that. And she's always looking for extra things to do and people to help and work with. So, but I would say yes. I don't know if there's something you can trade. I don't know if there's something, like you said, to hire, to pay someone, but I feel like, yes, that's right around the corner too. Now, it also feels like because your vision for your work, the YouTube videos you're doing, feels pretty solid and is ready to be supported. I would say there's been a timing thing on this too, and that timing is about to play out and things will start to align. And that feels like the summer for sure. So, wow, there's a lot going on, isn't it? All right, let's see. Anything else? All right, you guys, man, we got to a ton of questions today. This was fantastic. I love all the questions, and I just love your curiosity. And I hope with your one question, it's like 1,000 people can get an answer or more than they needed or knew they needed. So I just love it. And I really thank you for asking those questions, sending them in, joining us here. And I guess that's it. I'll look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, 1 o'clock Eastern. Y'all have a beautiful holiday. Remember, the guides are saying so many of us are animal lovers out here, and fireworks in this country on the holiday. Oh, the animals really respond to that because they're so sensitive. But guide said to remember they are surrounding each and every animal, especially at this time, knowing that that's coming in this country in particular, so that they will be soothed through that experience. And they tell me to tell you the animals already know that's coming too, and they are prepared. So, anyway, okay. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week and watching July get off to a big start. And I will see you next week. Okay? Thanks, you guys. Oh, hang on one second. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, good. I'm sorry. I was reading comments and I just love it. All right. Y'all have a great week. I will see you next Wednesday, 1 o'clock Eastern. You're welcome to join in with questions, or you can send them in early to my email, Betsey@BetseyGrady.com. Otherwise, I'll see you here. Okay. Oh, wait, what? Gosh, well, spacey today. I'm going to draw us one of the Conversations with God cards because I left my angel cards downstairs. Oh, joy, truth, and love. These three are interchangeable, and one always leads to the other. Isn't that great? So true. So true. No pun intended. Okay. All right, you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye. Me too.